What's going on, crypto people? Let's look at the price of Bitcoin. So what is happening is that we are pretty much trading above the zone, which was sort of dangerous and was at least a potential bottom for this drop. And indeed, we had a very long decrease in price, and this is a trend line here, which was broken recently together with this long-term support. Well, relatively long-term. Initially it was support, then it became a resistance over here, and we actually broke it quite confidently. So now we are trading above that, and this is a good sign in my opinion. Moreover, we did test it from the top once again and returned back, had a nice pullback with a nice volume. So technically market shows quite of the sign of the confidence. The only one thing is that we still have to grow above this $11,000 to show a higher high, and even better if we'll go above something like $11,900 to be completely confident, and then we'll start to struggle with this resistance line over here, which was a part of this global wedge or triangle. But the point is, the odds are starting to move towards the bullish scenario as soon as we made these two powerful moves to the upside. Also, a lot of people are looking at the potential inverse head and shoulders over here. Let me draw it real quick like that. And what it would give us is that if it will play out, then potentially we exactly will go somewhere to this zone. Well, probably it will be somewhere around here, which is absolutely reasonable because of this trend line. But what I personally don't like about this pattern is that the trend before that was pretty much the same size as the pattern itself, and usually it should be much bigger, and there is no downtrend. Actually, it's just a little decrease comparing to the previous sideways price action. So if this head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders would appear to be happening here, that would be much more confident call. And for this one, it's possible, but I wouldn't really pay too much attention for that. What is more interesting is that a lot of people are looking at this potential death cross over here, and now we're in a 4 hours time frame. Those moving averages are 50 EMA and 200 EMA, and if you look at the recent price action of Bitcoin starting from somewhere around here, so middle of February, there was a golden cross of these two moving averages, and then we pretty much was trading above 200 EMA, and always we tried to make this death cross on every correction, but it didn't happen. And now on this correction, it's seemingly about to happen, especially if the price will return to this support line. But if not, maybe this death cross will not happen at all, and we will continue to have the gap between these two moving averages. So many people actually on YouTube as well, they are looking at that. It's saying that if this will happen, then it may be a sign for the continuation of the drop, and then those zones like $8,500, maybe $8,000 and below, those will be really possible to reach. In my personal opinion, guys, it's kind of less powerful on such a strong bull trend which we observe now. So if it would be somewhere around here, let's say, then yeah, we would say that okay, it's possibly a reversal, but here it's just a sign of the deep correction and maybe will not play out in such a dramatic way. So I wouldn't really consider this as a strong signal. Another thing which gives me a bit of more confidence for the future rise in the price is that during the whole this consolidation and the drop, the volume was decreasing. You see, it was a bit spiky on the lows and highs, but then over here it became higher than the average, and actually very similar to what we saw over here at the top, at the maximum of the price action, meaning that probably the buyer is actually strong over here, and we see it because of the prices going up. So investors become more and more interested in buying in this zone. So potentially with this higher volume, I would expect that the price will probably go even higher. On the other hand, don't forget that recently we don't have much of the orders, especially actually at this area, exactly at the bottom. You see the volume over here is not that big as this one, for example, or this one. The market was very thin. You can look at the Tensor, but also there is another service called VC Depth IO, and here you can look at the order books of different exchanges for Bitcoin. Actually many different exchanges in the live regime, and basically this is the bids and asks for kind of average integrated order book. And you see around here when we saw the lows of the price, the order book was very, very thin. It was ideal point to move the price up or down for a huge distance, and actually it did happen. Now it's kind of on the previous level, more or less average comparing to what we saw before, but still it's not that big as at the spikes of the price, so potentially we still can see some significant moves according to these order books being relatively thin, especially it's like a weekend right now, so it's the typical time for things to happen. What I would like to stress out today also is that we are looking at the quite short-term price action. We're seeing like $500 move or even $1,000 move a day, and it may seem significant, but here's the thing. For example, from Plan B we have an update of stock to flow analysis. I made a video on that. I will make a link in the top right corner about it if you didn't see it. So he used the new data and got even better results for the accuracy of the model, and in fact he initially predicted something like $1 million in at certain point, and the new data is $100 in 2020, well after that $1 million after 2024 and $10 million after 2028. So guys, maybe we shall just forget about our trading, our attempts for catching swings and highs and lows, and just buy one Bitcoin and wait for 5 years or something, or better 9 years, right? And also when we are looking at the price right now, we are sort of worrying what is happening, whether we will go higher or maybe it's just a massive bull trap. Here's another tweet from CL on Twitter, and he basically plotted the price of Bitcoin and the popularity of the search Bitcoin word on Google on a logarithmic timescale. So you see, of course, the spikes in the price are correlated with these spikes in the search activity. Idea is here that right now we're in a very, very beginning of the new rise of this activity. So despite of the recent like parabolic move, the major rise is still in front of us, guys, and we very likely will see something like this as soon as the popularity and awareness will rise in the masses. So I hope it increases your confidence and kind of helps you with struggling with your anxiety if there is any. So, but anyway, let's look what is happening with this price action. Don't forget that altcoins are still a bit of the dangerous zone. Probably Bitcoin is still a safe haven for a while. I continue to believe that the alt season will come at some point, but just not right now. We need some time to change the sentiment, to make more new people to come, and so on and so forth. Okay guys, that is it for today. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.